What is up, guys? 10 VidMan here, bringing another exciting Black and White 2 Wi-Fi battle, and this was a match I had off someone off my battling page, and I'm using a very special team. It's I don't know if you guys remember, about a little over a year ago, one of my best friend died, and a horrible car accident and stuff. But I built a team around his favorite mons. I wanted to try it out in memorial of him, and yeah, it was a pretty fun battle. So, without further ado, let's get the battle started. Now, the one thing that he really had a liking for was offensive things, so pretty much everything is offensive, which kind of leaves me to a little bit of struggle, but I do have a special defensive Tyranitar, so that's one thing, but everything else is probably going to die in one hit. But hey, I don't care. I lead with Jolteon, he leads with Jirachi. I'm just going to Volt Switch. I'm a lay forward one and not a choice one, which is pretty nice. And I really don't know what kind of Jirachi he is, because Jirachi has such a multitude of sets it can run, and it does a very hefty chunk, which leads me to believe he's some sort of offensive variant, but I'm going to Volt Switch and go into my Dragonite, knowing I can probably take anything this thing has to offer, as he ends up going for the Iron Head straight off the bat, which I did not expect. I was very curious as to why he used Iron Head, but I guess predicted something else. But much to my dismay, he actually is a lead offensive attacker, and he possesses the HP Ice. So, Dragonite did absolutely nothing, which sucks. But hey, that's okay, I guess. But, yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And, going to go back to the Jolteon here, because from that range, considering how much Volt Switch did, I know a Stab Thunderbolt will be able to take it out from that range. But he makes a good play, and he goes straight into his Landorus. And, of course, Thunderbolt's not going to affect it, so that's a thing, too. So, yeah, Thunderbolt obviously is not going to affect it. But, now, what I didn't understand is, he knew I wasn't choiced, and I took a humongous risk in staying in case he was scarfed, but I do carry the HP Ice, and that Landorus is probably going to go down because it is timid max special attack, and it's 4 times effective, and it wasn't crit, which I doubt it mattered unless you're on special defensive Landorus, which isn't a thing, so yeah, his Stallfrocker is gone. Well, at least I think it was his Stallfrocker. So, but now he's going to go into his Tyranitar, and I really don't know what kind of Tyranitar it is. I'm kind of assuming at this point it's banded, because I think Landorus was probably, supportive. So I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch. I really took a risk here, too, just considering he probably could have gone for Pursuit. But if he does go for Pursuit, at least he can get some damage off, because, Pursuit does hit U-turn and Volt Switch users, too. But I am able to escape scot-free, so I go into my own Tyranitar, knowing he really can't do much to me anyway, unless he carries Superpower, which I doubt he really has. But I see Stallfrock, so I'm a little surprised. I didn't really know what to expect from it. I was kind of figuring it was choice, but no. As he withdraws, and he now goes into his, I believe this was his Rotom. And I was going to set up my own Stallfrocks here. And this is where a little bit of fun hacks happens, because even though I am especially defensive, I really don't know what kind of Rotom he is. I took a humongous risk in staying in, as he ends up going for the Hydro Pump. Unfortunately, it misses for him. Now, based on what kind of Rotom it was, I really don't know how much it mattered, but I'm just going to go straight for the Crunch. Does a very hefty chunk, but now I assume he's going to switch out, so I go for the Pursuit, knowing that a Hydro Pump would not kill me. But he stays in, and he goes for another Hydro Pump. Now, this does a lot of damage, despite me being nearly max special defense. And, it is super effective, but I get that, +1 special defensive boost in the sand. So it does a humongous chunk, which makes me believe this thing is actually Specs. But the Pursuit obviously does not kill, and unfortunately the sand does not finish it off from that range, which really freaking stinks. But he ends up going for another Hydro Pump, and unfortunately, once again, it misses, which, in the long run, it may have mattered, just based on how prior instances turned out. But really, in the long run, unless all 3 of them hit, which is unlikely to boot, it really didn't matter too much. Because, if I went for Crunch, would have died on the second turn. But anyway, he's now going to go into his humongous threat, which is the Terrakion. And the close combat is very obvious, and I go into Gengar to hope to soak that up, but he makes an excellent prediction. And, Gengar switches in, and he goes for the Stone Edge, which absolutely sucks. So, Gengar does absolutely nothing. So that's all fine and dandy, and yeah, Gengar dies. So, useless crit was useless, and, well, that kind of sucks. Oh well, but now, considering he's most likely locked into Stone Edge, considering I don't see an item, I can now safely bring in my Lucario and set up a Swords Dance, which is going to be very helpful. I mean, I wish I had Bullet Punch on this set. If I had Bullet Punch, I would have swept from here. But I don't. I have Close Combat, Extreme Speed, and Ice Punch, I believe. So I'm going to go for the Swords Dance as he switches into his Tyranitar, which was a questionable play. I mean, I don't know if he had anything faster than Terrakion, but it was still, I don't know if it was worth sacking Tyranitar at this point. But anyway, go to smack Tyranitar with a big +2 life orb close combat, and that thing is dead because it's not going to survive that at all. And yeah, it's humongous overkill. So, well, that's pretty nice. Tyranitar goes down. And yeah, that's awesome. But now he's going to bring in Jirachi. And I really didn't know why, considering, most Jirachis don't run a ton of speed. But this one he might have. But much to his surprise, I actually end up outspeeding his Jirachi. He told me after this battle, this Jirachi is meant to outspeed Adamant Lucario. I am jolly. So which means I outspeed, I'm able to take him out of a close combat, and that Jirachi is no longer a nuisance to me, which is awesome. But now I'm pretty much forced to be in a very tight situation here, because now he brings in the Terrakion. I really don't want anything else to take a hit from this thing, considering everything else is so frail. So I really just got to leave in Lucario to die here, but I'm going to go for the extreme speed just to get off some damage, because even though I know it's resisted, it's a +2 life orb extreme speed. It does a very hefty chunk, does about just under half, I want to say, as he proceeds to take me out. We have a close combat, which isn't overly a huge deal, just because I have my Jolteon and stuff to take care of it. Now, considering his nickname is the Power, I assume he is Choice Banded and not Choice Scarfed, which means that my Jolteon can easily come in and just proceed to wreak havoc and outspeed it. So I bring in my Jolteon as, now what I should have done here, I knew he'd probably switch out, but I was taking a huge risk of leaving it in anyway, because I didn't think he was Scarfed, but there was a chance he was. I should have gone for the Volt Switch, and I didn't. I instead go for the Thunderbolt, because I didn't think Volt Switch would KO Terrakion with the Sand Up, even though despite there was a special defense drop there. I really didn't want to take the chance, and unfortunately Thunderbolt does not do nearly enough. Now, had I gone for the Volt Switch, I could have easily gone into my Tyranitar and Pursuit Trapped him. And, but since I went for the Thunderbolt, now I have to manually switch into Tyranitar, and, because, he could attack me, which is fine, but he makes an excellent double switch, and he brings in his Terrakion, withdraws Latios as I switch, and he brings out the Terrakion, and that kind of sucks. So, out comes Terrakion. Now, to be honest, he probably could have locked himself into Stone Edge and done some work, but considering Stone Edge is only 80% accurate, it may not have been the best play, but he's going to proceed to just follow up with a close combat and just proceed to destroy my Tyranitar, which is fine, but now I'm really, really hoping he is in a range after the defense drop to where my Mamoswine can come in and unleash an Adamant Life Orb Ice Shard. That stab, even though it's only 40 base power, I think he's in a considerable range where Ice Shard should be able to take him out at that range. But, he's just down to his last two. I just have Mamoswine and Jolteon left, I think, at this point. And he has the Terrakion and the Latios. So I'm just going to go for the Ice Shard and hope to God it kills. Now, what I don't know is if he could have brought in Latios, and if, he could have potentially lived the Ice Shard, but at -1 he's not going to live and Terrakion dies, which is awesome, which means all he has left is that Latios. And, after the Stealth Rocks and the prior damage sustained from Thunderbolt, there was no way he's going to be able to live an Ice Shard at that range. So that gives me the very narrow 2-0 victory in my favor, which is awesome. And Mike's team pulled it out for me, so I'm very happy. This battle is definitely in honor of him. I love you, buddy. I love you so much, and I really hope that you enjoy this up there. So, I love you, buddy, and this was a good game. Good game to my opponent. He played as well as he could. But, yeah, that's stuff. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded much, but things have been busy and stuff. So, but whatever, and rate, comment, sub, and later, guys.